Hello and welcome to the Lunar Phoenix Path, where we use symbolism to help you turn embers into flame. Today's healing theme is grief and loss. This will be a general collective reading, so take what resonates, leave the rest, and move forward in a way that best suits you. Let's see what wants to come forward. So right away, I will preface that while I was setting this up, I heard one single mourning dove for 5-10 minutes, just non-stop right outside the window. Never saw it. So if mourning doves mean something to you, consider that a sign. Let's do an additional shuffle or two. Okay. See if you want to come out. I'm learning to be careful with this deck, because if I'm not careful, the cards just fly out, which it is kind of what I want, but not when it's like the whole deck. Alright, so something doesn't come in. Yay, there we go. So going for one more card. I feel like I was aiming for one, but those two are kind of come out together. Okay, so on the subject of grief and loss, the first card, which I am considering the Ember, so where your energy currently is, it's the Hermit. So, introspect, inward spiritual journey, spiritual illumination, soul searching, being alone, inner guidance, and withdrawal. So the Hermit, I tend to view more as an introvert. When I'm looking at this in regards to grief and loss, I'm feeling the soul searching and being alone. Maybe a little bit of inner guidance. So I feel like you lost someone really important to you. It could be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be a really close friend. It could be someone who got you through a really, really tough time. And so now you are alone. You're seeking the guidance because you feel like you've lost your way. I keep feeling like you really just want to not go anywhere, do anything. You just lie in bed all day kind of philosophy. So I don't know if you can hear my stomach gurgling. I'm going to take that as a sign that maybe you have, on the laying in bed all day aspect, you're not fulfilling self-care. So you don't want to eat, you don't want to move, you don't want to bathe, that sort of thing. So the second card being the Spark. So what activates or exposes the Ember? So we came up with the King of Cups. Devoted, emotionally mature, and balanced. Intuitive, compassionate, supportive, empath. Hey, there's that empath thing. Okay, maybe, so running with the empath thing. So let's Actually, let's go with the empath and supportive. So I'm feeling like you have a friend, or you will find a friend, or you need to find a friend. Obviously someone who can lend a listening ear, not really dictate what you should and should not do. But this other person will be kind of like a supportive empath sort of a deal. They will be compassionate, and they will help you kind of see your way through the fog, so you can be more balanced and emotionally mature. But ultimately, whatever they say to you, the message that they give you has to actually resonate with you. So, I mean, if you're not a nature person, you're obviously not going to want to go take a peaceful walk at a public park or a nature reserve sort of deal. So in that sense, use your intuition to see what helps you come back to center so you can think clearly, figure out what you need to do. But the idea is to do something. You don't want to lay in bed all day, not eat, have trouble sleeping, so on and so forth, and just not do anything. You will literally waste away. And I'm sure your loved one, whoever that may be, wouldn't want that for you. So on that note, so our flame. So what happens when continuously integrated? Okay, so the empowered response, we have the Eight of Swords. Move these over. And the Seven of Pentacles. So the Eight of Swords is self-imposed prison of thoughts, limiting and negative thoughts, victim mentality, trapped, helpless, powerlessness, and victim. And then the Seven of Pentacles is long-term investments, sustained patience, perseverance, hard work, success and waiting, harvest, results, profits, and planning. The idea that these two will work together. Self-explanatory. Eight of Swords. I mean, you lost somebody really important, so you're going to be in negative thoughts, very limiting thoughts. You do feel like you're in a personal prison. You do feel trapped. But in the sense of you need to get out of that. Long-term investments, like I said over here, long-term investments, you need to find something that will empower you to do what makes you, you. Sustain patience. I'm thinking you're wanting the pain, obviously, to go away right away, and it's not going to happen. You need to have some patience, just sustain patience. I would highly suggest you look up the grief curve and figure out where you are in all of that. That said, dealing with grief is not always very linear. When I lost my parents, I bounced around on that grief curve endlessly, usually at the valley of it. Eventually, then I've kind of come to realize, unbeknownst to you, you will gradually start climbing out of it. You can't force yourself to do that. You have to actually feel what you need to feel, and eventually things will lighten up. So in that sense, perseverance and hard work, it will not be easy. I will stress that again. It will not be easy, but you can do it. You will eventually see results. It may be 6 months from now. It may be a couple of years from now. You will see results. And I would hope that you would be happier for it. One thing I like to do, going back to the symbolism of the mourning dove, is just look for symbols that your loved one would have left behind. I know there's cardinals. I always thought of the mourning dove as a sign from my mother. There's hummingbirds, there's butterflies, and that's just the physical beings, if you will. Maybe there's a tune that you associate with them, or more than one. Like, for example, my mother was always about the song Celebration. Matter of fact, before she left, she said she didn't want anybody to grieve for her. Now, granted, she also said that she would prefer that we have a Mardi Gras party for her, but that I told her I was not doing that at her memorial, especially since it was going to be in a church. So maybe you need to think of the good times rather than all the bad times. The weird humor that they gave. So another thing she said, because she was gaining fluid that her body could not expel. It was cancer-based, if you're curious. And she told me that she did not want to be cremated. Matter of fact, she told me that she was going to haunt me for the rest of my life if we buried her in a coffin. And on that note, she's like, I honestly, she was about 5 feet 6 inches and normally about 160. So an average sized woman. When she passed, she was over 200 pounds. And so her joke was that she was going to put out the flame. So even at death's door, she was trying to be happy, despite all of the circumstances. So what I'm getting at is maybe they want you to be happy. Think of, like I said, think of the happy times. Think of the weird quirks that they did and that they said. And you will eventually get through. You will eventually persevere. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards. You want to come out. Let's see here. Okay. So this first one, I pulled this card in the last reading. So emotions are running high, supermoon. I don't know who I'm talking to, but you're a highly emotional bunch, apparently. And rightly so. These are not light subjects. And let's see. Whoa. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Believe in your power to manifest. Breathe your creation into existence. I feel like that is going to be just your goal of happiness. You don't want to feel at the bottom of the barrel anymore, and you have every right to feel that way. So essentially, kind of what I was alluding to, you need to manifest where you want to be. I mean, yeah, you need to feel what you need to feel in the negative realm. But you don't linger there, because you can't manifest happiness from sadness and anger and all those other negative emotions. Maybe number 19 means something to you. In a sense of irony, my dad was always about the number 19. And it was his football jersey number, and apparently it was a number that kind of was passed down through the generations. So in that sense, maybe they're giving you numerical signs, not just animals or things like that. I do feel that they want you to be happy. So try to find what makes you happier and just take baby steps. Rome was not built in a day. You will get through this. I believe in you. So that's about it. Whatever is surfacing for you right now, let it clarify rather than consume. Take what resonates, leave the rest, and move forward in a way that best suits you. I'll see you next time.